Hi. The transportation and logistics industry has evolved significantly over the past century. What has happened has a direct impact not only on the way we ship products today, but also how much we pay. In order to understand how to streamline your own logistics process and get the best possible rates for your company, we'd like to take you back in time and explore a little bit of history. It's 1915. And you're the traffic manager of ZYZ Company, which manufactures widgets. You just received an order, and you need to make sure your widgets get shipped to a customer in Cleveland. Since the primary source of transportation available to you is the railroad, you pick up the railroad's tariff, which is 500 pages long, and calculate the rate for this one shipment. You see, in 1915, railroads were mandated to publish all of their rates and charges in a tariff, and to file those tariffs with the Interstate Commerce Commission. Shortly after you verify the rate, you think it's too high, so you decide to ask the railroad for a discount. Forget it. Can't happen. No discounts are allowed. It's actually illegal. You must pay the tariff rate, even if it's exorbitant. As a shipper, in 1915, you didn't have a lot of options to reduce your company's shipping costs, and you certainly had very few options in terms of how to get products to your customer. Let's move the clock forward 20 years to 1935, and you're still working as a traffic manager. This is the year that the motor carriers came under economic regulation by the same Interstate Commerce Commission. So once again, you're stuck looking through those huge tariff books for your rates. Remember, no discounts, no incentives, nothing less than the published rate. Well, things stayed pretty much the same until 1978, when the federal government deregulated the airline industry. By deregulation, we mean economic deregulation of rates, not safety. Thank goodness. Ever wonder why you paid $500 for your seat on a flight from New York to Chicago and the person next to you only paid $150? You can thank deregulation for that. The same rules that apply to airline seats when you travel also apply to shipping goods via air. Suddenly, prices could be negotiated and discounts could be applied. You're starting to gain a bit of control over your shipping costs. Then, in 1980, the federal government took two giant steps in terms of deregulation. First, they economically deregulated the railroads. The feds also passed legislation to economically deregulate the motor carriers by passing the Motor Carrier Act of 1980. Now, for the first time ever, railroads and motor carriers could negotiate one-on-one with their shipping customers as long as they published those discounts in their tariffs. This is a major advancement. You now have a lot more control over your shipment costs and can utilize your relationships and shipping volume to your advantage. In the late 90s, the Ocean Shipping Reform Act of 1999 partially deregulated ocean carriers. Today, they still have immunity from antitrust violations, and the Federal Maritime Commission closely monitors contracts to make sure the ocean carriers do not overstep their bounds on price fixing. For the first time in history, the 21st century offers you, the shipper, the opportunity to negotiate lower rates on all modes of transport and have more control over your shipping operations. So everyone lived happily ever after, right? Well, actually, here's where the fun begins.